In this video, I would like to share with you how to download and use my Servant Leadership Questionnaire. It's a free download, no money required whatsoever. You don't even need to provide an email to download it. Simply download the form, answer the questions, and your results will be auto-generated. So, without further ado, let's do. First of all, you will need to go to my website, which is jonathansandling.com. If you're watching this video on my website, then you are already in the right place. However, if you're watching this video on YouTube, please go to the description below and click on the link to my website. You will see on my website that there is information about my Servant Leadership Questionnaire, which refers to the Servant Leadership Questionnaire structure, and also information about what servant leadership is, and the 10 principles of servant leadership. If you're not particularly familiar with servant leadership, I'd recommend you check out the content on this webpage, and there are also links to other articles around servant leadership and the 10 principles of servant leadership, which you're welcome to explore before completing the questionnaire. This Servant Leadership Questionnaire contains 28 items, and it will measure your leadership performance against 7 major servant leadership dimensions: emotional healing, creating value for the community, conceptualizing, empowering, helping followers grow and succeed, putting followers first, behaving ethically. And this Servant Leadership Questionnaire is a modified version of a Servant Leadership Questionnaire that was first produced by Linden et al. In 2008. However, my version has been modified to enable you to complete a self-assessment of these questions, rather than requiring other people to complete the questionnaire for you, and also the download provides auto-generated results, which takes away the time and problem of you having to work out your own scores yourself. So, let's get on with the questionnaire. At the top and the bottom of this webpage, you'll see a button which says "Click here, free download." All you need to do is click that button and you'll automatically have the document downloaded to your computer. I've tested this download on a PC, an Apple Mac and a Chromebook, and it works effectively on all 3 devices. However, if you were to use a smartphone or tablet, your ability to interact with the downloaded document becomes problematic. So please use a desktop or a laptop when completing this questionnaire. Once you've hit the download button, you can then open the document and begin completing the questions. You'll see that the document has 3 tabs: Introduction, Questionnaire and Results. You should read the information on the Introduction tab in full before completing the questionnaire, but to summarise on your behalf, you're required to conduct a self-assessment of your own leadership performance using the following 7-point scale, which ranges from 1, strongly disagree, right through to 7, strongly agree. You need to consider the extent to which you agree or disagree with the 28 statements that's found on the Questionnaire tab. Once you've read the information on the Introduction tab, you can now move to the Questionnaire tab. This is where you complete the questionnaire. You will need to work through the 28 questions one by one, adding a score between 1 to 7 in the green column. You'll notice that the key 1 to 7 is also included on this tab for ease of reference whilst completing these questions. Once you've completed all of the 28 questions, you will now be able to click on the Results tab, which will provide you with your auto-generated results. There are a few sections on this tab, so we'll talk through these one by one. Looking at the Servant Leadership Dimension table, you will see your total score for each of the 7 dimensions being assessed. The higher the score, the more strongly you would exhibit this servant leadership behaviour. The lower the score, you are less inclined to exhibit this servant leadership behaviour. Your scores will be colour coded, with green showing high range, amber showing a moderate range, red showing a low range, and dark red showing an extremely low range. These ranges are summarised in the Interpreting Your Score table. Below these tables you will see 2 graphs. Both graphs show the same results, but they display them in a slightly different way. On the left-hand side you have a web analysis. The closer the green line is to the outside of the web, the higher your score would have been in that particular servant leadership dimension, and the more likely you are to exhibit this particular leadership behaviour. If the line is closer to the middle of the web, you would have scored much lower on this particular leadership dimension, and you would be less likely to exhibit this behaviour. The graph on the right shows the same information but displays this as a bar chart. This gives you a clearer representation of how your score for each of the leadership dimensions compares to each other. So when considering your results, if you have a high score across all of the 7 servant leadership domains, that would mean that servant leadership is likely to be a predominant leadership style that you adopt. In contrast to this, low scores across these 7 leadership domains would indicate that you are less likely to adopt servant leadership as your default style of leadership. However, it's more likely that you will have high scores in some areas, lower scores in other areas, and some moderate scores in some of the other leadership domains. So if the purpose of completing this questionnaire was to see whether your current leadership style is aligned with servant leadership style, you can see where it is and where it isn't based on the high and low scores that you achieved. And if you completed this questionnaire to try and improve your ability to be more effective as a servant leader, You can see where you are underperforming and where you may need to change some of your behaviours and approaches to work and leadership to enhance some of those underperforming areas. So I hope you find the questionnaire useful and insightful, and I would very much welcome and encourage you to share the link to my website for other people to download it and use it should they wish to do so. If you found this video and the questionnaire useful, please consider giving the like button a quick tappity tap and turn that thumb blue. I'd also recommend you to subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this in the future. My name's Jonathan Sandling. Ta-ta for now.